With week 3 of the NFL preseason
in the books,
it marks the set that there are less than 2 weeks away from the kicking off of the 24-25 NFL season. Which leaves the question, is there anyone there to challenge and knock off the Chiefs? Well, that's a question that we're going to answer in part 6 of our special. Would you believe that it's going to be a team that didn't even make the playoffs this year? That's our 6th and final contender?
Damn you!
I don't believe anything.
Well, you better believe it. Want to know who it is? Find out next on Gridiron Gab Pro Style.
The autumn winds move like the thunderous waves of Neptune's sacred palace. And here, amongst the blackened soil, lies the ragged hands, worn, torn, and callous. They await with cunning and vicious prowess, for the warriors have returned.
Come on, Dave! Don't do it! Woo! No way! Woo! 85! Crying out loud! You're kidding me? You're driving me nuts!
But behold...
Welcome back, ladies and gents. Thank you so much for hanging out with us a little bit. As you guys know, I am the one and only Mr. CeeLo. And I have got to give a
jab out
to you guys on YouTube because y'all have shown up and showed out. Now, I hope you guys know I have a show that there are the Texans. That the Texans are a contender. As well as the Baltimore Ravens. As well as the Miami Dolphins. And you guys are wearing this Lions show out. As this show is now up over 2,100 views. And we've had a couple of more subscribers. And please, ladies and gents, if you guys are subscribed to this show, if you are not subscribed to this show, I beg your pardon. Please do so, because I've got a lot of you guys unsubscribed, and I've got over 37 likes on this show, but I've also got a lot of comments that need attention.
Oh, really?
Such as Ken MCY 1776 said, Jared Goff is the modern day Joe Montana, Elway, and Marino. You just too young to realize how good those QBs were. He's actually damn close to being the next TB12.
What the?
Well, I'm not a fan of Jared Goff because I've seen too many mistakes that Goff made, whether he was with the Rams organization or whether he's in Detroit. I still think Detroit's weakness is Jared Goff. I don't care what people say about his numbers. Modern day Joe Montana, Elway, listen, I watched those guys. I watched them growing up, so I'm not too young. Ken, so I know exactly what you're talking about. And him being the next TB12, don't think so.
Bruh.
But thank you for the comment. DJW0071, bro, here's the thing. You gave me 2 comments and you didn't give one single positive feedback. Not 1 ounce. So I'm not going to even read your comment. Because the fact is, if all you have is critique and you're not talking about the content itself, we have a problem.
You weak, pathetic fool. All too easy. Is that your best?
Is this a hypothetical question?
Ken MCY said, these guys outside the one pride don't realize just how good our team is, but we do. Our coaches, roster, and owner are starting a dynasty. Let them continue to doubt us. It will be apparent soon enough. Ken, great comment. You're going to end up being the Gabber of the week or the Gabber of this show. Great comment. I agree. I'm not sleeping on the Lions. I think you guys are great. I just think that Jared is the weakness here. And the hard part about this is you guys are not going to be able to get a top tier quarterback anytime soon. You guys are going to have to be riddled with injuries before you get a shot at a top-tier quarterback. Now, do I think you've got all the pieces together? Listen, you made sure that secondary was not going to be your Achilles heel. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have. Ultimately, I think your running back situation is going to be excellent. As long as you guys stay healthy, I think you guys are in excellent position.
Awesome victory.
Chiefs won't even be there, says John 110. You got a good point, Johnny. I don't see them getting there. I think you when you're going for a three-peat, you snuck past everybody last season. You really did. You squeaked by. And I don't think you're going to get the benefit of all of that this time. Okay. We all, meaning the kingdom, are very knowledgeable football fans, and we see the flaws in our Chiefs, but we also see the flaws in other teams and the glaring and the worst team Mahomes has ever had, and we beat the teams in our run to a back-to-back championship. And we played without the best offensive tackle in the game. The team that the Chiefs will field is like night and day. 4 guys who run 4.2 speed, the best tight end in the game, and the best QB ever to play the game. That was your chance to get the Chiefs, but now you know the outcome. And I live in St. Joe where the Chiefs practice, and you said you hear Worthy is struggling with drops. Please check your sources. Worthy had dropped 1 pass, caught 5 touchdowns, all the while covered by our best corner, McDuffie, who was an all-pro and starter. Snead never got a nod. He was really good corner, but he was a really good corner for us, but not great. McDuffie had more sacks, INTs than Snead, and we played most of the season with our best safety, Brian Cook, and he's tearing it up. Okay, Joseph, first of all, I have my sources, and this source came out of a reporter that was at Chiefs camp. He was struggling with a hamstring, and he was struggling with drops. He had 3 practices where he struggled with drops. Now, don't kill me. Kill my sources. They're the ones that said that he was struggling with drops and he was not at practice because of a nagging hamstring injury. Don't kill the messenger. Now, to your point about 4.2 speed and tight ends, the team that I'm going to talk about tonight is going to shut that down. They're a top 5 pass defense. And it goes back to a point that I made about the Chiefs not running the ball efficiently enough. You have a good pass rush, but this team likes to run it. And I am going to let you know, this team, if they would have been a efficient offense, you would have gone down to this team. So I'm not even going to sit here and have this discussion. I gave you my analysis on this team, that team being the Chiefs, and that's where I'm going with it. I'm not going to keep giving you guys the benefit of the doubt. You saw the show, and listen, I appreciate you giving feedback, but the reality of it is, let's not do this. Let's not do this. This show is about three-peat coming to an end, and you guys not achieving a three-peat. This is why. Travis Kelce is now more worried about shooting movies. He's already looking at the second phase.
Bruh.
Just saying. He's trying to become Hollywood Kelce before he's even retired yet. See how that works.
It's not funny, Ed. Hey, shut up!
Then Joseph gets in there again and says the Lions will make the playoffs again this year. First time since Barry Sanders. No, it's Sanders. That back-to-back playoff appearances, but you're in the weakest division in the NFC. I totally disagree with that point, and I'll elaborate in a minute. Another early exit at best, but as long as 15 stays healthy and Kelce is on the field, add the best coaching staff. You can't argue with the numbers. The Chiefs will have home field advantage again this year, but prove they are as good on the road as they are at home. Now I know why they say you are funny. My advice to you is to watch more games, learn the game better. Most of all, do your own research. That way you don't embarrass yourself with marks like Worthy is struggling with drops. But I will tell you that Kadarius Toney, who is Kadarius Toney. Good luck to you and your squad. I truly hope you make it to the bowl, We will be there waiting for a rematch, but the Lions will able to derail the three-peat means. You picking Detroit to go to the Super Bowl and win, I mean, how else could they slow down the Chiefs? First of all, Joseph, I get my resources from individuals that write not only for the Kansas City side of things, but the NFL and the ESPN side of things. Now, if I can find the article, which was 2 months ago, I will show it to you. Because the reality of it is, when you start doing research, you don't just say things just to say it. At least I don't. I know some people that do, and apparently you did because you didn't do the research. You're telling me because this is your team, you know everything, and you do not, sir. And that's fine. You can have your discussion about what you think is a fact or not. But I have the article. And then you can gladly apologize. Now, with you saying the Chiefs having home field advantage again this year, well, here's the thing. I seem to recall the Bengals whooping up on your Chiefs. And I didn't even mention them. And the thing is, you're giving me advice. My advice to you is if you don't like the content, don't watch. I hadn't said anything in here that was incorrect. And if I would, I'll stand by it and I will walk back what I said. But I don't walk back what Worthy was struggling with hamstring injuries and he was struggling with drops early on. So before you question, I will put the article up so you can see it, so you can gladly humble yourself. I watch a lot of games, sir. Just to answer your question, I watch 2 and 3 games at a time. I watch the Thursday night games, and when college football's over, I watch all the Saturday games. And when Sunday rolls around, I watch 2-3 games at 1 o'clock. I try to watch all the 4 o'clock games, especially if there's only 4. And I definitely watch the Sunday night games and the Monday night games, if they're plural. Well, we have 2. So please don't try to throw your insults here, sir, because at the end of the day, you will lose. And gladly, I will most definitely put you on blast when your Chiefs go out. Especially when you're talking about throwing shade at this team, the Detroit Lions, who you said another early exit. Define early. I consider what happened to the Dallas Cowboys an early exit. Oh, yeah. That's an early exit. So I've already made you look not very, I don't want to say intelligent, but I've made two of your points look kind of. And this is the thing, I don't mind having good, hard conversation, just as long as you're not up here trying to throw out insults. Listen, you can defend your team all you want to, but when I see something, I make sure it's real before I actually put it out there. So you can be hurt about it if you want to. Facts don't care about your feelings. Go cry somewhere else. You don't like the facts? Hey, I'm going to report them. End of story. I actually do all my own research, and I actually listen to other podcasters. And I'm sorry, I'm not embarrassed about what I said, because obviously with this show, it's got over 2,000 views. So apparently there's some Kansas City Chiefs fans that are actually heard about this, and there's actually some Detroit Lions fans that appreciate this, because at the end of the day, they've been a laughing stock, and no disrespect for Lions fans, but you know it, from the Barry era to the Calvin era to just so many ways that you guys have been embarrassed. And I feel for you, and I'm glad you guys have a coach that is really putting it together. And I would argue Joseph, that you're saying that you have the best coaching staff. I would argue that Detroit is right there with you. Just saying. You might better pump your brakes a little bit, because once it's over, I'm coming for you. Because you can have a conversation, but when you start trying to attack my integrity and the things that I do and I love to do, that's a problem. You can't just get on here and say whatever you want. That's the problem. And you're going to learn really fast.
Cut it out.
I want conversation. I don't want to hear your bashing, because if you want to hear bashing, I can go harder because I have a platform. I want good, clean conversation. That's what I want. Not this belittling, because I don't just say things. I have proof of what I say. Moving on. Oh, Charles says, I think he's given great information. The Lions need criticism so that we can get better. I subscribe to this dude. Charles, thank you so much. I am definitely going to put you as a guy up underneath gentleman that I will put as one of the top gabbers of the show. Phil says the three-peat will be stopped within the division. I don't know if I agree with that, Phil. There's really not a lot of guys. There's not a lot of teams in that division that I think are gonna. You have to let me know who you think is going to. You'll have to let me know who you think is going to be in the division that's going to win. Maybe conference, but maybe you meant conference, not division. Demicon says, I love your topic and commentary, but the constant sound effects took away my interest. Less is more. That's fair. And there's been a couple of people that have mentioned that. But guys, listen, I try to throw in a little bit of humor with that. That's what I try to do. And what I try to do is gauge a little bit of poking at my own self, sarcasm. Like if I say something that I know Chief fans are going to hate, I throw in something that's, what they're thinking. So, but yeah, thank you so much for the feedback, and I definitely appreciate it. But let us move into the topic at hand, ladies and gentlemen, which is the sixth and final team that I believe is going to give the Chiefs the boot and destroy its three-peat. The New York Jets. I know. Stop. Calm down. Sorry. But okay, you gotta calm down. But here's the truth and the meat and potatoes of it. This is a football team that had a really, really good pass defense and a pretty darn good pass rush. Now, I will say this. There's going to be a lot to desire on this offense. But looking at what I'm looking at here, you look at the big-time move here was a year ago. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, we know what happened. 3 plays in, done. Well, repeat. Let's spin it. Except this year, you add Mike Williams. Big boy Mike Williams. Big-bodied Mike Williams. And really it was just an assortment of guys that filled that position. Of course, you still have Alan Lazard. And then you add Mr. Yak himself, Malachi Corley, whom, in my opinion, not only makes this team dangerous, but you can't necessarily double up Garrett Wilson. And this is going to be scary for anybody. This is a guy that even when I was looking at the Jets as being a potential threat to the Kansas City Chiefs, they needed another guy that was going to scare. And I know everybody's going to say, well, Mike Williams does that. He's a downfield threat. Yes, he is. So is Garrett Wilson. But Garrett Wilson's a guy that can get you to intermediate yards. He can get you good. He runs with excellent routes. He's got excellent hands, as we've saw many a times when Zach Wilson and Trevor Siemian and Tim Boyle went after him. But other teams are saying, hey, we're not going to let this guy beat us. In comes Mike Williams in free agency. Then you got Malachi Corley. As I said, he is Mr. Yak himself. Yards after catch. This is a guy that is built like a bowling ball. Reminds me a lot of Steve Smith Sr. This team's going to be a nightmare to defend. And to a certain person's comment, and I will kindly remind you, you are talking about a guy that plays the slot. You were talking about a guy in Trent McDuffie who, as I said, he may have to go one-on-one with Garrett Wilson. And you talking about Brian Cook being back. Well, what you gonna do with Corley? Just saying. You make all these statements about who's gonna do this and who's gonna do that. Well, you only got Trent McDuffie and Brian Cook. Justin Reed plays safety. And you got a bunch of guys over here that are, in my opinion, not proven. Not proven. And we can sit here and you can sit here and say, oh, you got a guy that's out there that can possibly lock somebody down. The only weakness the Jets have is that offensive line. They have questions. And they went out and they got Fashanu for that. And I'm not saying he is the answer. I'm not going to say he's the answer at all. But I can tell you right now, this was a huge weakness. And they went out, drafted Olu Fashanu. They got Tyron Smith, John Simpson. You technically have got a group of guys that are brand new. And they are basically unknowns, but at the same token, they only have one job. Protect Aaron Rodgers. Now, you're sitting there talking about Patrick Mahomes. I get it. But have you forgotten, as much as I don't like Aaron, how many times he's been to the NFC title game and just didn't make the right choice? Just didn't make the right choice. And I'm just going to put it out there. You ain't going to have many chances with this Jets defense, Mr. Mahomes. You're not. Because we can revert back to this Jets-Chiefs game last year. Because undoubtedly, this was a 23-20 game. And I'm going to be honest with you. You look here. Let's look at the box score, y'all. Mahomes threw just a shade over 200 yards and had two interceptions.
Why don't you explain it to me?
Zach Wilson, on the other hand, threw for 245. Was sacked 2 times. Pacheco surprisingly had 20 carries, 115 yards on a score. If I had to say one thing, that would have been the weakness that I see in the Jets defense. Is they're not good stopping the run, but they're, like as we said, they are very good stopping the pass. You had Lazard had a 39-yarder for a touchdown. Garrett Wilson had 9 grabs for 60 yards. Where's your boy McDuffie at? Kelsey had 6 grabs for 60 yards. Yeah, Noah Gray had a touchdown for a 34-yarder. And you could see where he's spreading the ball all over the field. Very true. But I'm looking at this team and I'm saying to myself, when you lose the caliber of players the Chiefs lost on that defense, you have to be realistic with yourself when you think, okay, is this the same team? You have to back up. And this is where I tell KC fans, you got to be honest with yourself. When you lose guys like Mike Edwards, Willie Gay, and L'Jarius Sneed, you can sit there and call it what you want. You can sit there and call it what you will when you're talking about, oh, well, this guy's not that important, or I found the article, you guys. It was from Fansided. And it was July 22nd of 24. So I will be making a copy of this and putting it up there for you.
Yoo-hoo! I'll make you famous.
Without a doubt, when you lose these caliber of players and you want to be naive, or you just want to brush off what it really is, that's okay. That is okay, because the reality of it is, when it happens, you may end up having a major injury week 1. Or you may not even get it together. The camaraderie may not even be there. Or not even the camaraderie, the chemistry may not be there. And you may not get it ready till you may not get it there until nearly the end of the season. And by that time, you may be out of it. They added big pieces on that offensive line. All of them a step up from Tyron Smith, John Simpson, Morgan Moses, as well as Olu Fashanu, the rookie. Now, looking at the defense, the only part of that defense that I look at was a bad move was the Javon Kinlaw, and they allowed Quentin Jefferson to walk. Now, the Bryce Hubb deal, I kind of understand, but until this Hassan Reddick deal gets done, this is a bad move for the Jets. They should have re-signed. Bryce Hubb. Now, a lot of people are going to say, no, you don't do that. But right now, Hassan Reddick has played for a discount. But I will say this, if Hassan Reddick's on that field week 1 with Jermaine Johnson, Javon Kinlaw, and Keenan Williams, y'all in trouble. Not to mention, let's look at this back end. I will agree that there were a few downgrades here, but for the most part, I will say that I think Clark or Davis, with the limited time snaps that they've had, could very well replace Jordan Whitehead, even though we know about that famous one game that Jordan Whitehead had, allowing him to walk in free agency. But it still is Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, Michael Carter, and Tony Adams. And you won this game because you ran the football efficiently. You ran it efficiently. And right now, there is a lot of heat on the Jets. There's a lot of heat on Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers ain't finna go out like that. Aaron Rodgers ain't going out. Kansas City fans, for that matter, the AFC East, he's not fixing to allow this to happen. He didn't come here to finish second fiddle to anybody in the AFC. Aaron Rodgers done forgot what it's like to be on top. He wants to revisit that feeling. And you, Mahomes, are in his way. And you got to go through one of the top 5 passing defenses in the game. Not to mention you got a pass rush that's ready to get after you. And you got a weakness in your secondary. Don't say I didn't tell you so. Malachi Corley, better remember that name because I got a feeling he's going to have a big game against y'all. You know Garrett Wilson, you know Mike Williams, but have you considered Malachi Corley? Ultimately, I believe the Jets win this game on the back of their running game, surprisingly. And I think they get a lot of play action pass. And as I said before, my man Malachi Corley is going to get a lot of easy throws and a lot of open space. And as I said, that depleted, overrated Kansas City secondary ain't going to be able to tackle. And Corley has a big game. En route to the Jets knocking out the Kansas City Chiefs and killing the 3-peat. Let me know what you guys think. I love the comments, you guys, but when you go out and you write me a paragraph in my comments and then you challenge what I say and then I'm actually correct, which, by the way, I will accept my apology. Either you can do it through inbox. I don't have to embarrass you. You've already done that enough. But please don't challenge me. If there's something wrong, just let me know. You can be nice about it without actually trying to put me on blast. You can be nice about it. I don't have to be negative. I want to have a conversation. That's what I want. I want to have conversations with you guys. When you guys disagree with something, that is okay. I'm okay with you disagreeing. But don't come on here attempting to put me on blast.
What a dumbass.
That's not cool. I am getting my opinion out there based on what the facts I receive. You can't argue with the facts that I present. That's just the way they are. I listen to other podcasts, I listen to other people's opinions, and then I come on here and I give my own take. I listen to a lot, and I watch a lot of football. I listen to a lot. And guys, I want you all to go to, please subscribe. And as I said, there are some of you guys that are really awesome. You guys are great. I'm working on a t-shirt. If we can get to those 100 subscribers, I will. I'm working on a design, but I'm also going to give away a t-shirt for my first 100. Please make sure you guys are subscribed. I'm not able to see my subscribers, but what I'm going to do is right there when we get towards the end, guys, go to Gridiron Gab on Facebook. Gridiron Gab on Facebook, you guys, and make sure you add yourself. Add yourself. If you don't do anything else, add yourself so I can see that you're there. And I'm going to add everybody to the drawing when it all comes down and when we get there. So do me a favor, do that. And as I said, go there, and as I said, go to there was no group in the Gridiron Gab Pro Style that gabbed enough on this topic, but there was no gabbing group of the week of the show. But there was a gabber, two gabbers of the week, two big time gabbers of the show. And guys, I want you to keep on gabbing and keep bringing in your opinions and thoughts on the comments. Just be nice. That's all I ask. Be nice. Don't insult me and I won't insult you. But until the next time, you guys, same Gab channel, same Gab platform.
But behold, there is a warm breeze that comes from the west. The blazing sounds of victory fuel their everlasting quest. It is a call to arms, for they are here. An army that has the will to challenge and the will to dare.